Hello dear students, welcome to this program. Today we are discussing an interesting topic which is the cell cycle. Before discussing the topic in detail, the main objectives to understand are: what is the cell cycle? Eukaryotic cell cycle. How cell cycle progression is regulated? What are the events of mitotic phase? What is meiosis and fertilization? Let me start with our first objective, cell cycle, eukaryotic cell cycle. Cell division is a very important process in all living organisms. During this division of a cell, DNA replication and cell growth also takes place. The sequence of events by which a cell duplicates its genome, synthesizes the other constituents of the cell and eventually divides into two daughter cells is termed cell cycle, or we can say the cell cycle entails an ordered series of macromolecular events that lead to cell division and production of two daughter cells, each containing chromosomes identical to those of the parental cell. Eukaryotic cell cycle. The eukaryotic cell cycle can be divided into two major phases based on cellular activities readily visible with a light microscope: M phase and interphase. M phase includes the process of mitosis, during which duplicated chromosomes are separated into two nuclei, and cytokinesis, during which the entire cell divides into two daughter cells. Interphase, the period between cell divisions, is a time when the cell grows and engages in diverse metabolic activities. Since the processes of DNA replication and cell division occur at distinct and regulated time intervals, the cell cycle can be conceptually divided into four phases. The first phase is G1, the longest phase, called a gap phase, during which the cells are preparing for replication. The second is S, or DNA synthesis phase, during which the DNA is replicated and a complete copy of each of the chromosomes is made. The third phase is G2 phase. It is a short gap phase which occurs after S phase and before mitosis. The fourth is M, or mitosis, during which the new chromosomes are segregated equally between the two daughter cells as the cell divides. Together, G1, S and G2 comprise the interphase. After mitosis, proliferating cells will enter the G1 phase of the next cell cycle. Cells can also exit the cell cycle after mitosis and enter a non-proliferative resting state GO, which is also called quiescence. Our second objective is regulation of cell cycle progression. The initiation of a cell division cycle requires the presence of extracellular growth factors or mitogens. In the absence of mitogens, cells withdraw from the cell cycle in G1 and enter the GO resting phase. The point in G1 at which information regarding the environment of the cell is assessed and the cell decides whether to enter another division cycle is called the restriction point, or R point. Cells that are starved of mitogens after passing through the R point continue through the cell cycle to complete cell division before entering GO. In most cell types, the R point occurs a few hours after mitosis. The R point is clearly of crucial importance in understanding the commitment of cells to undergoing a cell division cycle. The interval in G1 between mitosis and the R point is the period in which multiple signals coincide and interact to determine the fate of the cell. Those parts of the cell cycle, such as the R point where the process may be stopped, are known as checkpoints. Checkpoints operate during the gap phases. These ensure that the cell is competent to undergo another round of DNA replication at the R point in G1 phase, and that replication of the DNA has been successfully completed before cell division G2 phase checkpoint. Cyclins and cyclin-dependent kinases. A major mechanism for control of cell cycle progression is by regulation of protein phosphorylation. This is controlled by specific protein kinases made up of a regulatory subunit and a catalytic subunit. The regulatory subunits are called cyclins and the catalytic subunits are called cyclin-dependent kinases, CDKs. The cyclin-dependent kinases have no catalytic activity unless they are associated with a cyclin, and each can associate with more than one type of cyclin. The CDK and the cyclin present in a specific CDK-cyclin complex jointly determine which target proteins are phosphorylated by the protein kinase. There are three different classes of cyclin-CDK complexes which are associated with either the G1, S or M phases of the cell cycle. The G1 CDK complexes prepare the cell for S phase by activating transcription factors that cause expression of enzymes required for DNA synthesis and the genes encoding S phase CDK complexes. The S phase CDK complexes stimulate the onset of organized DNA synthesis. The machinery ensures that each chromosome is replicated only once. The mitotic CDK complexes induce chromosome condensation and ordered chromosome separation into the two daughter cells. Now we will discuss about M phase, events of mitosis and cytokinesis. The name mitosis comes from the Greek word mitos, meaning thread. The name was coined in 1882 by a German biologist, Walter Flemming, to describe the thread-like chromosomes that mysteriously appeared in animal cells just before they divided into two. Mitosis is a process of nuclear division in which the replicated DNA molecules of each chromosome are faithfully segregated into two nuclei. Mitosis is usually accompanied by cytokinesis. Now discussing mitosis. Mitosis maintains the chromosome number and generates new cells for the growth and maintenance of an organism. It can take place in either haploid or diploid cells. Haploid mitotic cells are found in fungi, plant gametophytes, and a few animals, including male bees known as drones. It is a stage of cell cycle where the cell devotes virtually all of its energy to a single activity, that is chromosome segregation. Most metabolic activities of the cell, including transcription and translation, are curtailed during mitosis, and the cell becomes relatively unresponsive to external stimuli. Mitosis is generally divided into 5 stages: prophase, prometaphase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase, each characterized by a particular series of events. Each of these events represents a segment of a continuous process. First one is the prophase. Prophase, it is the stage of mitosis which follows the S and G2 phases of interphase. Prophase is marked by chromosomal material condensation to form compact mitotic chromosomes. Chromosomes are seen to be composed of two chromatids attached together at the centromere. Cytoskeleton is disassembled and mitotic spindle is assembled. Golgi complex and ER fragment nuclear envelope disperses. Second is prometaphase. In prometaphase, chromosomal microtubules attach to kinetochores of chromosomes. Chromosomes are moved to spindle equator. The third is the metaphase. In it, complete disintegration of the nuclear envelope marks the start of the second phase of mitosis. Hence, the chromosomes are spread through the cytoplasm of the cell. At this stage, metaphase chromosome is made up of two sister chromatids which are held together by the centromere. Small disc-shaped structures at the surface of the centromeres are called kinetochores. Spindle fibers attach to the kinetochores of chromosomes. Chromosomes lie at the equator with one chromatid of each chromosome connected by its kinetochore to spindle fibers from one pole and its sister chromatid connected by its kinetochore to spindle fibers from the opposite pole. The plane of alignment of the chromosomes at the metaphase is referred to as the metaphasic plate. The fourth one is anaphase. At the onset of anaphase, each chromosome arranged at the metaphase plate is split simultaneously and the two daughter chromatids, now referred to as chromosomes of the future daughter nuclei, begin their migration towards the two opposite poles. Centromeres split and chromatids separate. Chromatids move to opposite poles. The fifth one is the telophase. At the beginning of the final stage of mitosis, that is telophase, chromosomes cluster at opposite spindle poles and their identity is lost as discrete elements. Nuclear envelope assembles around the chromosome clusters. Nucleolus, Golgi complex and ER reform. The second M phase process is cytokinesis. Mitosis accomplishes not only the segregation of duplicated chromosomes into daughter nuclei, that is karyokinesis, but the cell itself is divided into two daughter cells by a separate process called cytokinesis, at the end of which cell division is complete. In an animal cell, this is achieved by the appearance of a furrow in the plasma membrane, later dividing the cell cytoplasm into two. Coming to our final objective, meiosis and fertilization. The process of offspring by sexual reproduction includes the union of two cells, each with a haploid set of chromosomes. The doubling of the chromosome number at fertilization is compensated by an equivalent reduction in chromosome number at a stage prior to formation of the gametes. This is accomplished by meiosis, a term coined in 1905 from the Greek word meaning reduction. Meiosis ensures production of a haploid phase in the life cycle and fertilization ensures a diploid phase. Without meiosis, the chromosome number would double with each generation and sexual reproduction would not be possible. Meiosis is divided into meiosis I and meiosis II. Meiosis I has four stages. The first one is prophase I, second is metaphase I, third is anaphase I, and the fourth one is telophase I. Likely, meiosis II also consists of four stages: prophase II, metaphase II, anaphase II, and telophase II. Now, let me discuss the significance of meiosis. Meiosis is the mechanism by which conservation of specific chromosome number of each species is achieved across generations in sexually reproducing organisms. Even though the process per se paradoxically results in a reduction of chromosome number by half, it also increases the genetic variability in the population of organisms from one generation to the next. Variations are very important for the process of evolution. Now, let me discuss fertilization. Fertilization is a cell-cell recognition process that occurs between two distinct cells, a small asymmetric and motile sperm cell and a large and non-motile egg. The stages of fertilization can be divided into four processes. The first one is sperm preparation, second is sperm egg recognition and binding, third one is sperm egg fusion, and the fourth one is fusion of sperm and egg, pronuclei and activation of the zygote. Step 1, that is preparation of the sperm. Ejaculated sperm are not ready to fertilize an egg when they enter the vagina. In response to the dilution of semen in the vagina, they undergo several changes which are collectively known as capacitation. The first one is intracellular calcium levels increase, second is spermatic motility is activated and tails change beat frequency, the third is sperm cell surface antigens are lost. The loss of these proteins renders the sperm more receptive to binding to the egg. Step second is sperm egg recognition and binding. Because of the availability of gametes, the process of sperm egg binding was first studied and understood in invertebrates. In sea urchins, the sperm head binds directly to the egg outer surface and this triggers the acrosome reaction. The acrosomal contents are released and there is a balanced sodium influx and hydrogen efflux, causing an increase in pH. The increased pH triggers the dissociation of the prophylactin complex, that is actin and profilin, and the released actin monomers polymerize to form a filament called the acrosomal process. This acrosomal process penetrates the egg coatings to allow fusion of the sperm and egg plasma membranes. In sea urchins, then, the sperm literally skewers the egg. In humans, the process of sperm egg binding is not so simple. The complicating factor is the thick zona pellucida, which keeps the sperm from binding close to the egg plasma membrane. Acrosome reaction. As a result of irreversible binding of the sperm to the egg, the zona pellucida triggers the acrosome reaction. The outer plasma membrane of the acrosome fuses at multiple sites with the plasma membrane and the contents of the acrosome are released. Two of the important components are acrosine, a serine protease, and N-acetyl glucosaminidase. Acrosine bores a hole in the zona pellucida so that the sperm can reach the egg itself. N-acetyl glucosaminidase hydrolyzes the O-linked oligosaccharides in ZPGP3 to allow the sperm to detach. As a result of the membrane fusion, a new surface is exposed on the sperm, the inner acrosomal membrane, and this is thought to contain new binding sites for ZPGP2. Step third is sperm egg fusion. For many years, the process by which the plasma membrane of the sperm and egg fused was a black box. Recent studies by doctors Judith White, Diana Miles, and Paul Primakoff and other colleagues have now shed light on this process. Miles and Primakoff have made an antibody to PH30, a heterodimeric sperm membrane protein comprised of alpha and beta subunits, and showed that this antibody blocked fertilization but did not block binding of sperm to egg stripe of their zona pellucida. This suggested that PH30 was involved in sperm and egg fusion, and it was given the name fertilin. Fertilin was one of the first proteins of a family of proteins known as ADAMS proteins for A disintegrin and metalloprotease containing protein that are involved in cell-cell recognition and cell fusion events. Although the mechanism for how fertilin causes sperm-egg membrane fusion is not yet known, studies have supported its role in membrane fusion. Fourth step is the fusion of sperm and egg, pronuclei, and activation of the zygote. The immediate events after fertilization include the egg's effort to prevent polyspermy. Polyspermy refers to the fertilization of the egg by more than one sperm, resulting in zygotes with greater than a diploid amount of DNA. This causes early embryonic defects and arrest of development. After sperm-egg fusion, the egg mounts the cortical reaction to prevent polyspermy. In all eggs residing just under the plasma membrane, there are membrane-bound vesicles known as cortical granules. When a single sperm penetrates the egg, the cortical granules adjacent to this site are triggered to fuse with the plasma membrane, exocytosing their contents into the perivitelline space, that is the space between the plasma membrane and the zona pellucida. The cortical reaction is propagated over the surface of the egg by a wave of calcium ions. This was shown by the Acorn experiment, in which the photoprotein Acorn phosphoresced in a wave from the site of sperm penetration of the egg. It's all about today's topic. Thank you so much.